Hello, welcome to Invictus Motors. In this video, we would like to cover everything we could possibly cover on the Audi R8 and perhaps why you should consider buying one. Here in front of us, we've got the Audi R8. It's the second generation, which they started producing between 2015 to 2019. The first generation Audi R8 that were produced between 2005 to 2014, they're actually based on the Lamborghini Gallardo, whereas these are based off the Lamborghini Huracan. That means the engine and the transmission is what is also in the Huracan. So there is a lot to speak of when it comes to the Audi R8 because this is a supercar. Because from a performance point of view, the 5.2 litre V10 engine in this produces 540 brake horsepower and 540 Newton meters of torque, and the 0 to 62 is possible in a blisteringly quick pace of 3.5 seconds. I will be taking this out on a test drive, but before I can do that, I'd like to quickly and briefly talk about the spec on this. Normally on a V10 Plus, this isn't the V10 Plus, this is the V10. On a V10 Plus, you'll get an additional 70 brake horsepower from memory. So whereas these are 540 bhp, the V10 Plus are 610 bhp. But aesthetically, the differences you find in a V10 Plus is that rear spoiler, and obviously this has got the side skirts and the front splitter. I mean, these are the things that you would find in the V10 Plus because we've had that. But I do find the V10 Plus to be that bit quicker for the everyday driving that we do, or the daily of cars that we actually need it. So I do like the idea of the V10 as opposed to the V10 Plus. But here it is. It looks like a V10 Plus. You wouldn't think that this is just a V10. It's got the Maxton body kit. So if you already own an Audi R8 V10 or perhaps the slightly smaller engine and you want to make it just look amazing, then perhaps do consider putting it on the Maxton carbon body kit. That means the rear spoiler, the side skirts, the front splitter, but it is going to cost you quite a bit of extra money, including installation. I reckon approximately, 6 to 7 grand, but I'm no expert in body kits. Now what is different on the Audi R8 second generation? Well, technically everything. The Audi R8, when it was introduced in 2005, it was, something very new, something very different. It was one of the first production car that had fully operating LED headlights. So they've carried on that theme with LED running lights on the front, on the rear. But the second generation takes the whole class of the Audi R8 to a completely different level. I mean, that is from the performance, from the engine, and as I've alluded to, it's now based off the Lamborghini Huracan. This is what it's based off, as opposed to the Lamborghini Gallardo, which is what the previous generation was based off. On a cold start, the Audi R8, the second generation, it sounds absolutely glorious. I mean, I have driven it a little bit to get to this location, but hopefully you can just hear me press that red button there and hear this sound. Another really tidy feature is where the key goes. Very handy. So press that, so all the systems come alive. Foot on the brake. Yeah. Well, on a colder start, it sounds much better than that, but this is still good enough. And listen to this now. This is not even in the dynamic mode. And what I most love about, and I've always loved this in the second generation Audi R8, is the digital cockpit. Because in the first generation, you had that screen here somewhere. And I thought it was a bit untidy. And this is, I think, amazing. They've really cleaned the inside of the car from the screen and from, I think, just excessive amount of buttons. But you still have quite a few buttons. But nonetheless, I think it is a tidier look. You get some extra storage here, some more storage here. I think all very handy. Let's drive. Okay, there's the reverse camera as well, so it makes it extremely handy. Put it in drive, and let's enjoy this. So it's in comfort mode. We're just cruising along at the minute at about 18 miles per hour. And as I said, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between sitting in this and in any other sort of super comfortable saloon car. And I think this is what you would this is what you would want when your car is in comfort mode, nice and easy, nice and relaxed. And if you put your foot slightly, it does sound great. But really, this car completely changes once we put it in dynamic mode, which we will be doing in a minute. But to continue to sort of illustrate that point of the dailyability and the comfortable nature of this, I think it does a very good job in not being able to annoy your other half in something like this. And I'm sure she can come out and daily drive this with you. Now let's put it in dynamic. You could just hear that. Approximately 70 miles an hour, and yeah, it sounds amazing. So we were in 5th gear, it picks up and drops speeds extremely well. While on the downshift, now we're onto 2nd gear. Okay, let's just enjoy this for a moment. Take a breather and go again. Worked hard throughout your life and would like something like this to treat yourself, here it is. I don't think there's a better way of treating yourself than to getting something like this. And now I frequently get asked about values on cars. Some people would like to make money out of the business of buying and selling cars after they've enjoyed it for a couple of years. To be completely frank with you, I don't think anyone will lose money in something like this, even if they've driven it, even if they drive it 10 to 15,000 miles. Because at the price it's currently advertised with us, which is just under £80,000, it's superb value for money. It's got a full Audi service history. Now, on the balance of the ride, the comfort, the handling, this handles like a dream. Combined with that glorious sound out of that V10, what a dream. And if you're wondering what sort of braking systems you've got, or braking power you've got, I mean, you're in safe hands. You've got the vented disc brakes at the front and at the rear. I think these are probably some of the biggest brakes that are there I see in sports cars. And the whole digital cockpit is super easy to use. You've got this button called View. You press that. You've got the miles per gallon there now. No, the speedometer there, and you've got the revs meter there, and then you've got your radios with the entertainment system, which you can adjust. Marvelous. So I hope I've done a good job to illustrate why you would consider getting one of these. Now let's put it back into comfort. And obviously it's no longer in the sports mode when it comes to the transmission. Therefore, the gear changes are that bit more subtle and comfortable when it's going up or down a gear. You barely feel it. Obviously, in the sports mode, you do feel the gear changes. On the first generation, I don't think, other than the fact it's a supercar and it looks good, I don't think I was sold on the idea of the first generation, because it was very uncomfortable to drive on the motorway or to even just daily around putting miles on it. Whereas this, you know, is a godsend gift. It's just so much more comfortable and easy to drive, and overall, I personally just think that the second generation is built much better and put together extremely well, and every nook and cranny of it feels tight. My colleague was talking about it earlier with me. You know, we were just going through the car, touching, you know, all the all the surfaces and just the trims, etc. So I hope you've enjoyed what we've been able to do here in terms of a review. Thank you very much for tuning in to watch this video with us. Stay in touch, and there will be more videos. So thank you once again, and see you on to the next video. Don't forget to click subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. There's a link to the charity that we support in the review as well. So if you'd like, you can donate to them. Thank you. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. Let's hear it one more time. It's good. Yeah. My neighbors are out.